today's video is actually going to be the very first of the Will It Roast series. So book roast basically means that I review a book and I decide whether it's going to be roasted or if it's going to survive. So first of all, I am no expert on books or in fact on anything else. This is just my opinions and my opinions alone, and sometimes Logan's opinions, but that's a different story. Let's see how it goes. I thought it was very suitable for these series that I'm gonna talk about to be the first ones on my blog and to be the first one on my Instagram and to be the first ones here for the reviews, because this is like a first aid book for me. I have been in like such a deep slump for so long, and this is the book that rescued me. Now, a very unpopular opinion coming, so brace yourself. But I actually think that the books that I've been reading during my slump as well, like on and off, put me in a deeper slump, and that was Game of Thrones. And I have so many mixed feelings about that book, but it did not help me whatsoever. I didn't want to read afterwards at all. But this book grabbed me and was like, you're mine now. So, you know. So basically what I am rambling about is that this book saved my reading, and I am so grateful. And so basically you already know that it's not gonna be roasted, but it is gonna be loved and it's gonna be treasured, and it's amazing. So if you haven't read the book, don't worry. The first bit of the review is just me talking about how I found the book in general with no spoilers whatsoever. And the second part of the video is gonna be a book talk about the parts that I thought were interesting, about the characters that I liked and I disliked, and then a bit more details of why and what did they do. If you haven't read the books, I will let you know before the spoiler bit comes up, alright? So that there's no hate and no one's gonna come to my house and kill me, okay? Okay. I thought instead of just spreading this out into 2 different videos, although those books deserve 2 different videos, believe me, but I slammed it into one, and I'm just gonna talk about it as a series. It's supposed to be a trilogy. The 3rd book is not out yet, and I cannot wait, and let's do it faster. Alrighty. But the books are Kingkiller Chronicles, I believe, and the first book is The Name of the Wind. This was a rescue book from Oxfam, and hence the state of it, and also look how burned it is, because it was sitting by the windowsill and we didn't really realize that it's actually like cooking the books. I am also just now learning how to read the paperbacks without breaking the spine, and I have to admit I not particularly enjoy that. Like I like my book to be open so that I can eat, but it's also very much loved, so I don't even want to replace it. It's just... Second one is The Wise Man's Fear. The books are about a main character quote. I'm never sure how to say that name. These books are definitely the high fantasy, and whilst there is some violence and definitely cruelty in the first one, I think it's fine for everyone to read this, whilst the second one would not be that suitable for the younger audience. If you're thinking about that, if you're very young, that's fine. That is not very fine. But hey, these are long, so you know, I don't know what I was going to. Like, it's not like everybody reads as slow as I do. So by the time you finish with this, you might be okay to read that. Each book is 1 day, and the 3rd and the final one is to come. So basically the main timeline that you spend most of the time is the story, and the real time is just 3 days, and each book is a day. The story is an actual emotional roller coaster. Well, there's so many heart-wrenching moments, and sometimes you feel like, you know, life is so unfair, and these books really make you appreciate the fact. At the same time, the humor in this book is just outside of this world. It's so funny. I giggled so many times, and I actually laughed out loud so many times. It is mainly about really bad luck and other struggles when you don't have a lot of people to rely on. The main character is so clever and so cheeky. You have this sort of like hate and love relationship with him. Like, the first book is 650 pages or so, and then whilst they look the same, the second book is actually printed on Bible pages, so it's 1,000. It's 1,000 pages. I love these books. These books saved my reading. Anyway, if you have not read these books, please do. They're so amazing, you're not gonna regret it. If there's a question in a tag of what's the one book that you will recommend people, be prepared for me to always basically say this. Please read it, and so then I can talk with you. I'm a tad late to the train, but I really don't hear enough about this on BookTube, and like, I mean, come on! Those are great books, those are like the best books ever. So just to very shortly sum up, the characters are amazing. There is just enough detail about the secondary ones for you to be interested in to follow the story, and just enough information about the main character that still leaves you wondering and intrigued. So not everything is revealed, you know, when you feel like you know that character and you just sort of know how they would react in any situation, and it's just sort of like, you know, like I already know what's gonna happen. That is not the case with this. It's really intriguing, it's really just magical. Speaking of, the magic in these books is sort of presented through like a scientific point of view, so it's not like abracadabra magic, it actually sort of makes sense, you know, as much as magic can, and I love that about it. And now I think I'm gonna just go to the spoilery bit. If you haven't read this book, hey, please come back when you have, and so we can talk about it. I'm being very selfish here, but I really want to talk about it. Bye 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 bye. I'll meet you later, okay? Bye. Bye bye bye. Bye 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 bye. This book I already have a sort of comprehensive review in my blog. I will link it down below. I'm sort of gonna splash them together and make them make love. Right, I read those before I actually realized that I need to take notes about what I'm reading, so, you know. I definitely struggled a lot to get into this book at the beginning because I was not following the part with the inn whatsoever. It went to him as a child with Ben teaching him some bits of magic. That was quite alright. And then his parents were killed, which was, you know, horrible. But I like that. I like shocking, grotesque bits in the book. I don't like when death is sugar-coated. Then he went into being homeless, and that stretched out for what, like 70 pages? Whilst I did enjoy it and it was interesting for a bit, I was like, oh man, and that's I think the part where I sort of stopped, and then like a few months later I came back to it and I just powered through that bit, and then the university came and I was sucked into that book and it did not let me go. Characters, oh my god, I'm very much a character person. I don't even mind if not a lot of happens in the book, but if I'm invested in the characters, I will read it. First of all, let's talk about Sim. How bloody funny is he? I think he's like a more charming version of Ron. I love that he's smart. I love that everyone basically is smart, because you have to be freaking brilliant to go into the university to begin with, so there's not much, oh, why did you do that, you know, like those stupid things characters do, and then you're like, why? There's not a lot of that in these books, which I'm really glad about. Though the one problem I had with this book was the freaking romance. I don't know why, but I have this huge dislike of Debbie. Huge, massive problem with Debbie. She's so annoying. She's such a tease. That girl knows what she's doing. She's not that stupid. She's been doing that for ages, and I think she's like older than him as well, and she knows very well that he's deep in love with her. I understand all the, you know, like background and her life was shit and she's doing that not because she enjoys it. It's the only way that she knows how to survive, but Jesus, let him go. I know you want a friend, but then go out clean, you know, don't flirt with him if you don't want to be together. It's so frustrating, but also maybe she doesn't want to be with him because he's poor. Bitch, like I really don't like her. And the way that he's just so clung to her, and he's so smart, but I know love is not smart. I really don't like it. I don't like the romance in this book. I don't like Debbie. I do like Delphi. Delphi is a badass woman. I think she's just badass. But I still like that there were some female characters, and I don't think any of them were just like, no, rescue me, sort of like females, except for freaking Debbie. But other than that, all the female characters were quite badass, which I did like. It was really bizarre because it wasn't fast-paced, especially at the beginning, whatsoever. And even in the university, like, still a lot of things happened, but I wouldn't call it fast-paced book. And sometimes it would just rush through it and you would barely catch up. Like, seriously, it would be like that. The second book, I was disappointed when he left the university and was like, oh, I'm already loving these characters like Will and Sim and everyone, and now you're leaving and there's obviously gonna be new characters and sometimes I'm just like, I just want the old ones. New characters and you know, whatever. First I was like, meh. It must have been interesting because I still couldn't put it down. It's just written in such a smart and brilliant way. I think he is a genius with his words, and I know a lot of people will say there's better books out there, but for me, I think this is the best fantasy novel I have ever read, and I really doubt something's gonna top that up anytime soon. The problem with the second book was still Debbie. Like, Debbie is gonna be my problem forever. Let me know what you think about Debbie, because like, also the sex scene, like I knew it was coming because it was in the synopsis of the first book that he slept with the Felurian, and the sex scenes, like really? And then he's not even like, I know everyone thinks that he's older because he looks a bit older and he definitely acts like he's older, but he's not that old. What is he like? What was he, 16? And it wasn't just like, oh, you know, a clumsy first timer thing. Like, they shagged there for like 3 months. Literally going at it like rabbits every single day, and that was like a little bit disturbing, especially knowing the detail it was written. It wasn't like, you know, 50 Shades of Grey, but it was still fairly disturbing is the word that I'm gonna choose, because all in all I enjoyed the characters so much in this book, and I enjoyed the plotline. I enjoyed everything about this book. Favorite moments are probably still with Elodin, although there's so many that I love. And it's interesting how it jumps between the story and him at the end. He changes from being quote to quote. Quote is so domestic, and it doesn't suit him, and I don't know what put him there, but you know, that mystery and that like nagging question, like, why are you like this now? It really keeps you reading, and I really want to know why. And I think in the second book we sort of saw that his quote side is showing up a little bit when he was trying to fight those 2 guys that came into the pub that apparently Bast ordered. So make of that what you will. This book, and please guys, let me know what were your favorite characters, your favorite part of the book. And also let me know if you heard when the next one's gonna come out, because I really want it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe or leave a comment. I always answer to the comments. I love talking with you. And there's gonna be links to my Bookstagram and book blog and the lifestyle blog. Anyway, thank you. I will see you next time. Bye.